Okay, before we leave this chapter, there's one more type of physics we're going to talk about, and that's rotation. Now, to do rotation, we're going to have to change the configuration of our setup a little bit, so let's get to that. Okay, we're going to select plane in the hierarchy, choose a perspective view so we can see the plane. And then in the inspector, come up here and we're going to put in a Z rotation of 315 degrees. And we're also going to change the scale in the X direction to 3. So a little thinner. Now let's rotate it around so we have about the same view as the camera. Okay, that's good. And we can click off of it and click Run. And it hits, and it goes down the plane. Now that's fine, that's interesting, but one thing we can't really tell from that is, did it rotate as it went, or did it just kind of slide? Well, we can't tell because the sphere has a uniform surface. But luckily we know how to change that to something that's not quite so uniform, so then we can tell whether or not the sphere is rolling. So let's get to that. Down here in the project view, under the Create menu, choose Material. And we're going to call this Sphere Roller. Okay. And we could give it a color, but that won't help us. So we need to add a texture. So Assets, Import New Asset. And we'll navigate to our course assets, which I've got on the desktop here. There we go, Unity Course 1 Game Assets. And anything, there, one of our bricks will do. So let's take Brick 02, and we'll click Import. And there it is. And remember how we do this. We're going to select our sphere roller material and then drag Brick 02 up to there, and then take the sphere roller and put it on the sphere. So there it is. Now we can run our game, and now let's see what we see. And it hits, and there it's rolling. Okay, very definitely rolling. And rolls right off. So we can end this. Well, that's fine, and that's great, and it rolled, but different materials, different things have different inertia properties. They'll roll easily or not so easily, and Unity actually lets us control how much resistance to rotation an object or a certain material possesses, and we do that in the parameters. So we'll choose the sphere. And then we'll come down here to the rigid body parameters, to the one in particular called angular drag. We're going to change this to a larger number, 5, much larger than the 0.05. And now let's run and see what we get. And hit, and it's rolling ever so slightly, but much more resistance to rotation. So angle, which is like angular, which is rotation, raising that drag parameter increases the resistance to rotation. So one more thing that you can use to customize your objects, make them work a little bit like different things that you might try to simulate. And there you go. So that's it for this chapter. There's lots of things you can do with this stuff. You can have lots of objects in a scene. You can make them bounce off of each other. You can set up towers that don't quite balance but take a little while to fall over. You can set up planes so that you put them a little bit on edge like we have. So have one thing roll into another. A lot of things that you can do. Now eventually we'll be writing code that lets you control and move objects on their own. But until we do, this is an interesting way to just watch things happen, watch events happen, all kinds of stuff that you could do. Possibilities just go on and on. Okay, so that's it for this chapter. We're going to end it here. So we'll just come up, File, Save Scene, and File, Save Project. And that's about it for now. We can close Unity, and we're done.